Hello. In previous section, we made a GraphQL server and a front-end server, so that front-end server can get the data in our GraphQL server. Of course, this data is a dummy database that we created. So we will make a demo here again and run. Okay, so this server is running on port 3000 and we are running frontend. So our frontend now is live in 3001, port 3001. So let's check if it is working. Okay. Okay, this is our frontend page. Okay, so you can see here is our GraphQL server, and we can fetch user from our GraphQL database, and then we can change our username from Eric to Eric Awesome. Okay, that's all working fine. But in this section, we are going to make our front end and back end more safe and more secure. Excuse me. So I make a graph to explain the image more clearly. So for now, the user, which is me, now operate the system, is using the browser to access the GraphQL, right? So how does it work? The front end, when user send the get request to our front end page, and then front end page will send the HTML page to this browser with the secret key. So if you go into the Chrome developer tool, and when you get into the source and you see the next static, which is the front-end source code, you will be able to see something like our secret key somewhere. Let's just search it. Not here. I just cleaned it up. Should be somewhere. Wow, okay. So you will, when you get, so you will be able to see the colorful life somewhere, right? This is the key of our secret key to create our JSON web token. So user can, so it is not safe, right? When every time the nextjs just output the secret key with all the HTML tag to front end, and then you can see everybody get into this website can see the secret key. So this is not safe. So we are going to improve this, and then once we get this secret key here, and then the front end page, our JavaScript code here is going to create a web the JSON web token, and then send it back to the GraphQL backend, and then the GraphQL backend will verify if this JSON web token is valid or not. If it is valid, and then it will change the data according to the form that a user sent out. And another thing here as well, you will be able to see in the GraphQL page, when you get into the Google development tool and then get into the source, and then GraphQL source code somewhere. No, we don't get here, we get to here, and then you will be able to see the source. The GraphQL here, and let's see. Okay, probably we are not able to see it here. Okay, I think the middleware of the GraphQL has done the has done the security thing for us to make our secret key not explore to outside. So we don't need to for this time we don't need to do anything with our GraphQL, but we exactly need to improve the security of our front end page. And how we will going to do the one more step here. So we are not going to send. Okay, here. So how we are not going to directly send out the secret key to browser. We just send out the HTML page only to browser, and then user will need to input the password. Oh no, this one doesn't need to. So user will need to input the password, and then with the send to the and then this front end page will send the API endpoint which we will create later to with this password to our nextjs front end server. And then what this create JWT endpoint does is it will create a WebJSON token for us in the front-end server instead of in browser. So browser user will not be able to see anything about the secret key from the browser source code. Instead, this JSON token, JSON web token will be generated in the nextjs front-end server. And once the front-end server generates the JSON web token key, and then it will send back to browser, and then browser will know the token only instead of the key. And then user will input the username change form. Then browser will send the JWT JSON web token with the username to the GraphQL backend, and then GraphQL backend check if the JSON web token match with each other. If yes, it will change the database. So this is whole flow that we are going to do. Let's go into see the code. Okay, firstly, we are in the front end page, right? And the most important part is here, right? We sign the JSON web token through our hard-coded secret, which is not set. So what we're going to do is make an API. What nextjs is very powerful is that it has built-in API endpoint out of the box for us to let us to simply create a API just by creating a folder. So this is our create JWT, right, as we mentioned, and we just copy the simple code hello here, copy all, and then get into here, paste. Okay, and we will remove our this part. We just copy and make it here, and of course we need to have the JWT imported here. Okay, okay, then we will need to sign, right? So where the secret key from is from the our request body sent from our browser, user's browser. Then it will be in user's request, and we set it in the body. We will put it in the body, and this part will be implemented later in the index.stx. Okay, probably we make it something like pwd. Okay, that's it. And I think we don't need this for now, right? Because the browser yawning, and we just simply replace this hard-coded string to secret. Okay, so front end admins, everything is the same. And then what we need to do is create a response here. We probably not because we are not we probably not call it response because the name is conflict with each other. We call it, oh no, just a second. Okay, what we need to return is the JWT, right? Token. We just call it token, and a token is not good. Okay, token. Reload. Okay, what we need is only this, right? And then we return our payload back to our browser. So it is yelling. Why? Because it will be the data type, but the data type is not correct, so we need to change the data type to the corresponding data type, which is the authorization and string. Okay, so that's what we need to do. Okay, save. So our API is done, and then we will need to change. We need to go back to our index.js instead of just a second. Okay, this section, instead of signing the JWT inside our browser code, instead of this, we are going to get the token from our API endpoint, right? So which will be the same token equal to, we are using fetch, and our URL is API of API, and then the one we create here, create JWT. Then we need to define our header, right? Might be body. This one is that we mentioned that we need to define, right? The body will be pwd and password. Okay. and headers. We need to also define the method. We probably just make it post, and then we define the header. Oh man. Content type, and we just make it like a normal JSON, and the body will be the password, right? And once we get the, this one should not be the token, this one should be response. Token response, and then we will get the JSON. Okay, so it will return the JSON, and then what is the content of the JSON will be the data, right? So we will need to get this one out from our data. This one should be working fine, and then that's it. And then here you can see there is error yelled here, right? Because user needs to input the password, and then we currently don't have this password field for user to input, right? So let's do it here. Let's implement this. We just create a password and then set password. Or we okay, and we make a input field with value as password placeholder. We make it input credential, and change That's what we are going to do, right? So now user have the input field to input the password. And we still have one thing here. Why this is the issue? Okay, probably we need to make it. We cannot input an object, we need to input a string. So simply we just stringify it. So it's gonna be working. Okay, that's it. Then let's try if it is working on our client side. Now we have input credential, right? Now we again fetch Eric Olsen. We want to change Eric Olsen back to Eric, and then the credential we know, right? Colorful light, and then submit. Then you see that we print out something, but it's still Eric Olsen. It doesn't change, so it must be something wrong. Let's go back. To see there is an error here, right? Running into the GraphQL because the token verify is failed. So we need to find out the reason. So let's check out why. We just print out the token first in our frontend to see what happened. Console.log to see what happened. It has a token. Invalid signature. So what happened is that the colorful live, this one is in capital letter, so we need to, this is my bad, we need to input the wrong one. Colorful live, this one should be good. Try. Okay, let's see. Now it changed back to Eric, right? And then it is much safer because when we go to the index, we refresh, and then we go to the okay, then we go to the index, and then we don't see the color, we don't see the secret anymore. We don't see that, right? We don't see that anymore. So this is much safer. We use our inputted data and then make the credential in just our backend endpoint, which is very good. Okay.